Alright, hey, hi, hello. How's it going, guys? My name is ZetaRayZod, and welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, before I begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell icon to stay up to date on all my latest videos. So, last we left off, we were kind of cross-examining Ashley Graydon's testimony. If you're not sure who that is, it's actually Edgar Benedict. His real name's Ashley Graydon. We're just kind of like picking apart his testimony, and it kind of came up that I feel like in order to ensure that we get the right person for this this trial, we would need to get Gina to testify for her actions that happened during case number 3, which was with McGilded, if you recall. But if you also remember, she did admit to perjury, so which is why we're at a dilemma right now as to whether to let her testify or we just leave it. I'm of the opinion that we should let her testify because there's a chance that we could actually point Graydon as the culprit of the murder that took place, with Mr. Winniebank, which I feel is a bit, that's better than kind of her getting caught for perjury. So I'm just gonna say have her testify. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal. Oh, what proposal, counsel? While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilded's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand. The defendant? To what end? It's to do with the various articles deposited in Winniebank's by Mr. McGilded, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. You know what, I think it's fine as well, because she was threatened by him that, that he would do bad things to her if she didn't help him. So I kind of feel like maybe she should get off the hook about that. It'll prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing, in particular the impact it will have on the accused standing, and indeed your own. I have. Yeah, I feel like it's a better option than just, just letting her go for fall for murder. Lord Van Zeeks, would you care to explain that last remark? Prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself. Very well, if you have no objection. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice. Then I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. As you wish. Alright then, Gina. It's time. I know this will be hard, but please put your faith in me here. Good luck, Reno. God. The articles that Mr. McGilded had deposited in Winniebank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago. Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in the trial as well. How many trials do you go through, Judge? I tried, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilded. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now, here we all are again. The same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend. Well, allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilded. Naturally, he was the prime suspect of the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged, that the murder in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage. hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilded died in this very courtroom, in the most extraordinary of circumstances. That's true. The mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. I have a feeling it's Ashley Graydon. He seems to know McGilded, and he seems to be okay with killing people, so I have a feeling he did McGilded in too. As indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be that as it may, I recall neither the disc nor the small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings. Miss Lestrade, would you tell the court now, please, what really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago? I mean, she's gonna say no. I don't know what you mean. I already said all of what I know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Tell the truth, please, Miss Lestrade. This is extremely important. But remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. Better than murder, Gina. And naturally, you'll lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts. You have little credibility to lose. Do it, Jeannie. Jeannie, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Runo now. Iris, we're on your side. Alright then. I'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina. Well, it seems that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it. I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. He's a bit dense, isn't he? Sorry, Judge. Sorry, Your Honor. But you dense. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilded's pawn articles and that extraordinary case of the omnibus harbor secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Mr. Stride, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, a commodity sorely lacking your original statements. This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Van Zeke said. This could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. The real truth of the omnibus. Okay. Truth is, the brickmaker Cove was in the cabin on the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard screams all over my head, and that pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's when McGilded slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop round about. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I seen or heard. There you go. Quick and clean. Quick and clean. Goddamn. Good grief, that's outrageous. What you've just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago. As you say, my lord. Then there's every chance. I may have adjudicated an error in McGilded's trial. Sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived his court. In an effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes, he's dead, Judgy. Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in that trial of this witness and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable.
I don't believe it. The whole trial's a farce. It was all lies. That McGilded fellow was rotten to the core, just like that pickpocket. Don't forget the lawyer from East. They were all in it together.
You're wrong, the lot of you. This narrow Joe, the lawyer there, didn't do nothing about it. Thanks, Ginny. Thanks. I'm back. I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that?
Really stitch everyone up, didn't he? What an operation to get that man off scot-free.
Unforgivable. Stop. The lies have to stop. Stop. Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony, because the true significance of McGilded's pawn articles must be brought to light. Very well. my learned student friend. Given the depths of calamity you've just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing. Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. How's it his fault? I don't understand how this is his fault. He defended McGilded to the best of his abilities, and he did his job. I don't see how he gets punished, you know? Unless, like I said in previous episodes, since he found out about Gina's perjury, now he's being, I don't know. Of course, my lord. Blimey, Mr. Naruhodo. Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. Okay. Let's do this. Real truth of the omnibus case. Okay. She feared the cove in the cabin. And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Mrs. Trial? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats. Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all. Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain that you claimed Mr. McGilded was the sole passenger, did you not? False testimony, my lord. That's what he told me I had to say. But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilded and the victim acquaintances? I don't know. But I did hear him talking a lot. What were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear it too well, but if I had to say, I think it was about your money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying. Perhaps business dealings of some kind. Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. I started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then, hardly dared to breathe, and then, all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone keeling over the floor, blooming loud and all. And I believe you let out an involuntary scream. Yeah, that's what gave me away. Okay. I should drag you into the seas. Okay. Was the disc you saw this disc? Yeah, I reckon it probably was. That's right next to the cove lying on the floor. Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps? I don't know, but McGilded picked it up pretty smartish. And then he sat at the cove with a knife in his belly up on the seat. What did he say to you at the time? Told me not to say a word about what I seen or heard, that to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. The way he was looking at me, I thought, if I didn't go along with it, I'd get stuck with that knife too. Then he started asking me a lot of questions, like what my name was and all, and where I lived and that. He asked me about being a diver or two. But after a while, what had happened and the carriage was noticed? Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise. Oh, I think someone knocking on the window. So I heard a scream of me, a rapping noise, and it just blanks out. It kind of feels like there's something supposed to be more there. There were 2 gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe. That's right. These 2. They must have looked down to the skylight and noticed a cove with a knife in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up the horses and McGilded got me out of sight. Out of sight? Where? Back under a seat where I started off. Once the carriage came to an halt, I was too close from the roof raft to fetch the slopes. They immediately left to fetch the police and it appeared they were entirely unrelated to the incident. So that left McGilded, the driver, and you still at the scene. Yeah, only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and I voiced for him outside. Driver, yes, he also testified at the trial, I believe. Yeah, the muddy guy. Yeah, that guy. Beppo. Fellow who went by the name of Beppo. If memory serves. What a cute name. Beppo. That's a cute cat name if you have a cat named Beppo. Beppo. What did McGilded and driver say to each other? I don't know what happened and stuff like that mainly. Stop driver, so tin. Okay. That pawn shop obviously being Winnie Banks on Baker Street. Yeah, just a moment, counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in that trial as well? Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbroker slipped his mind when he was in the stand. Indeed, Lord Van Zeeks. McGilded took off his coat and gave it to the driver. Folded it up all carefully before I handed it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it has got to be worth a few bob. Yeah, Gina was sure the disc would be worth more than Winniebeck was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember quibbling with him over the price that afternoon in the pawnbrokery. The driver looked pretty happy when McGilded flashed some brass in his face. He went running off like a lick. Then the bolt shutter called to me and told me to come out from the drags cabin. Right, not to say, shall say nothing. Okay. I see, Graydon's like his back is turned. Threatened you how exactly? Told me I'd only be able to scarp her if I did exactly what he said. Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago. Yeah, I said. And there was one other thing he said. Which was... Told me I have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop. Make sure not to lose it. The ticket? Well, I never. He said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me for 2 months past, I'd have to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it on lock. Stop it being forfeited. I'm just thinking. If the timeline is correct, Beppo went off to the pawnbrokery with the code. And I'm assuming when he went off, this is when McGilded gave the ticket to Gina. So my question is, how did she get the ticket for the code? Because Beppo would have to pawn that code off first, then get the ticket. And then he would give it to McGilded before McGilded would give it to Gina. Unless he's talking about the music box one. Wait, the music box? Who gave me the music box ticket? Did she? I think she gave me the music box ticket. But she also had the ticket for the code. How did that happen? Maybe I don't know. Maybe he gave it to her during the trial. You know, I don't know. Left me with some brass to pay for it. But really, why on earth would Mr. McGilded have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat with pawnbroker before the arrival of the police makes no sense at all. There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What Mr. McGilded had to drive a deposit in the Winniebanks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs. Anyway, after that, he let me go, so I liked it before the coppers showed up. Well done, Gina. It can't have been easy to tell the truth like that. She didn't really put her faith in you, right? Yeah, and to thank her, she'll have to face a charge of perjury once this trial's over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible. It's time to really go for it. Press her in every state. I suppose I should. Oh, and another thing. What's that? Take a look at those two. Isn't it strange that they've been whispering to each other the entire time? Yeah, that is strange. It's like they're having a secret discussion about something. I'm not sure I'm completely comfortable with that. I wonder if there's anything to do about it. I don't know. Ah, damn it. Holding again. I don't know. Wait. Oh. Can we press them? Oh, we can. Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Graydon? Inspector Mr. Graydon. Whoa! Why? Are you trying to give me a heart attack? We've been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about? Discussion with this fella? Pull the other one, Sunshine. You think I've got anything to talk about with a shady jet like this? And I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after they deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. But they've clearly been talking the entire time by cross-examining Gina. It's as if They've been negotiating.
Thank you, Mr. Stride. Thank you, Counsel. I've heard enough. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus.
It would appear on that night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. A negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, McGilded took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way, although I don't understand why as yet. And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGilded's coat and its contents were due to be forfeited. I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I made the call date right after this trial. I knew that. So you decided you'd try to claim the articles as your own. Well, why not, eh? They're only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have got them? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking it ain't no crime.
Mr. Stride, it would appear Mr. McGilded was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be?
I got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He's probably gonna sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking it ain't no crime. Oh, who's this? My lord, evidence your lordship request has been located and is ready for the court's inspection, sir. Very suspicious. A mysterious little box deposited by McGilded 2 months ago. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. I'm pretty sure it's the music box. It's gotta be. And I have a feeling I know what that disc is. But at the same time, I don't want to say like I'm 100% certain. I have a feeling it's government secrets. But I don't know how McGilded got it. And why it's on a music box, you know? Why it's a government secret is because, like I mentioned in the previous episode, the newspaper specifically mentioned that government secrets were leaked. In fact, let's have a look at it. See, it says there, government secrets being leaked to foreign agencies. So I'm assuming that that disc is actually government secrets. Wait, if that's gonna happen, I'm so happy. So this is the article in question, is it? A small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilded 2 months ago. And on the night of Mr. Winnibeg's murder, the only item on the shelf that was touched by whoever broke in the shop.
Quick, let's open it and see what's inside.
Music box. Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems. Wow. Although in truth, I had an inkling that might be the case. Yeah, it's a music box. I told you. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement. Then, is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord.
So, here we have the means to play back Mr. McGilded's disc, deposited at Winniebank's at much the same time.
Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilded's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus.
But why, for heaven's sake, are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell his music box disc to Mr. McGilded?
If you're assuming that it's the victims, and my theory is correct, that means the Mason guy is a spy. Or he stole government secrets, but how? He's a brickmaker. I believe the answer will become clear if you listen to the music on the disc, my lord.
Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last.
Now what? Oh, wait, my lord.
Good grief. What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The music box and the disc, well, they're unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music. What the heck's going on here? This may well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. The prosecution has no objection. But no, that piece of evidence is police property now. You can't. Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. But it is policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. Ah! His fries went flying. No further delays, please. Play the disc. What can I... Never gonna give you up. It sounds like shit, but I think it's actually Morse code. It's not supposed to be a music. It's not supposed to play music. I think it actually has some secrets on it. But I was thinking, like, can you imagine if like their music plays and it's like a Rick roll? Never gonna give you up. But what on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music. No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in a regular sequence. It's Morse code. Mr. Graydon? This really is priceless. Bastard. Ah! His wiggles annoy me. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the office sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom. Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Are you ready to move on, counsel? Come on. Yes, alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music box music emanate from a music box that possibly be a new clue? It could. I believe that it could be relevant, my lord. Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel. A noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever. It does sound strange, I agree. But there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. That's making him appear extremely on edge. If that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this. Oh. Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case? It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music. It's Morse code. Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that. A smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. I'm on the right lines here. It must be. Making deductions based on how people react to what you say? You're acting just like Hurley, Ritter. The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music? Well, now that you've told us what they're not, I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of you. Not the death of you, death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that is pure foolishness. You've got me. I don't know what the answer is. Yet. Runo. I've just examined the music box very thoroughly. And I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all. Really? Really? The way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway. Thank you, Iris. Alright. Well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Brain slowing down. Oh. Could it be? Is that what these sounds are?
Something's just struck me, Rudo. I feel like recently in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes. It's Morse code. Yeah, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, counsel? All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to one single answer now. The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm gonna get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's gonna join all the dots together. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds on this music box disc is... paper! Today's paper, counsel? The headline is Pawnbroken Perishes and Picked by Plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause. No, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page. Further down. Ministry mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter. Being investigated at the highest level, I understand. I've heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams? Of course. Juror number 5, your input please. Stop. Oh, me sir. Whatever's the matter? You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports. Oh, yes, we're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound? You don't mean to say, is it? That's right, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by a telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code. But I don't believe it. I'm freaking right! It's government secrets! I knew it. It's all connected. See, this is the thing I love about these games is when it connects everything. You're like, oh my god, you know, like that makes sense. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams or government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code? Order? Order? Please, everyone, order! But this is high treason, counsel, deserving of capital punishment. Too much new vocabulary. What is treason? And what is capital punishment? Sorts of words I half expect you to know. Naruhodo. For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations will surely pay almost any price. Yeah. And on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, Mr. McGilded perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in a pawnbrokery. My word. In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry into the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. Gilded would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous, absolutely preposterous. So, in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer is prattling away. He objected. Then by all means, counter the charges, sir.
Prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. Ooh, see? You know, he's a dick sometimes. Like, I've said this multiple times. Well, what? He's a dick sometimes, but, you know, at its core, he's always looking, you know, he always wants the truth to come out. Delighted, I'm sure. He's an idiot, though. If he does his job properly, I wouldn't have to do it. The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Winniebank. That being a most flagitious offense for which the law of this land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. Again, I also want to point this out to the fact that this isn't my job. Like, this whole thing is not supposed to happen. My job is to basically defend my client, or, you know, provide significant evidence to prove that there's a possibility she might not have done it. And I kind of feel like I've already done that, you know? So, I don't know. I don't know why we're still here. But it's a game. It's a game. It's all in good fun. So then, let's just proceed. Oh. Sounds like the detective. Oh, you guys. You gotta let us have a rabbit and pork here, Governor. We've got things to say. Hey, I beg your pardon. Who do you think you are? Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin. But we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right. We're what they call patriots. The true Skulkin brothers. Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. Skulkin brothers wanna testify? Testify! Mere communication officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brick maker negotiating McGilded anyway, was it not? I have no relation to the man. Look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night like what he told us to do. Had we known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it. So they admitted that he broke in. Mr. and Mrs. Skulkin. One whistle do you, Governor. What's up? Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally? And moreover, you did so as a party of three, in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here. We did, Governor. We did. Quiet down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to. You little rotter, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. Never said nothing about no government secrets. It's supposed to be a straight up job. What about that geezer shopping was, eh? Poor bloke didn't have to die, did he? Ah, nice to know who your friends are. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it into the court record as evidence, okay? Let's see, let's see! Cross-examination. Blah blah blah. Hold on. Can I look at the music box? What's this thing at the bottom? Oh. What is it, Reno? I've just noticed something about this music box. Looks like the bottom of it opens up as well. Ah, right. Well, come on then. What are we waiting for? Let's open it. Alright then. Here goes. Look at that. There's another movement on the other side. So does that mean we could send another disc to play back on this side? Yeah, I think so. Looks like the two movements are linked together. They're linked. So if you had two discs, they would both play back at the same time. Interesting. Who would have thought there would be a second movement over the other side of the box? This movement's like the other one. The cone and teeth are all the same length. So this movement also only produces a single tone like the other one. Yeah, it must do. Except that the length of the teeth on the two combs isn't the same. So the single tone produced by this movement will be different to the single tone we've already heard. What? Basically, each movement can only produce a single note. but the notes they produce are different. The music box can only play 2 tones. Short and long. I guess that's how they differentiate the difference, right? It's short and long. What I mean is short and long is like the beeps are different. Beep, beep. You know, it's like longer and shorter. That's how you distinguish what word it is. Letter. It's a mechanism that turns the bumps of a disc into sound, isn't it? Yep, movement. It's all thanks to the combs of its teeth that are plucked by the passing bus. Usually the teeth of the comb are different lengths, so that each one produces a different tone. But this comb is very strange. All the teeth are exactly the same length. Well, what does that mean? It means that no matter which tooth is plucked by the passing bumps, the music box will play the same sound. I've never seen a music box like it before. Yeah, it's strange. The music box that can only play a single note. Has to be some significance to that, surely. Alright. Okay, we know that it opens on both sides, so let's press it. So is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted? How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information. Oh no! Stop! I must say something. Stop! Let me guess. Juror number 5. We regular communication station officers aren't as lonely as you're being led to believe. Our team members are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. And Mr. Great is the team leader. That's fascinating. How can you like blatantly lie, knowing there's someone there that can like call you out, dipshit? Graydon's a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon. Well, what of it? The transmission's always made behind closed doors, so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent in cipher. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand it. Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and a ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at the cipher correcting convention 5 years in a row now. That's fascinating. Stop lying, idiot. God. I feel like what's worse than liars are liars that keep going even though they know they're gonna get caught. Those are the worst kind of people. Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. Well, your idol will appreciate it if you keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you this, lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. Holes, man. There's holes everywhere. Besides, the print sounds produced by the music box aren't even Morse code. They're not? To anyone with a brain, they would be blatantly apparent on listening to a music box for even a few seconds. Of course, of course. Well, that's true. You can't really tell the difference between the long bips and the short bips, which is why I think the other side's important. That tells you the long or the short bips, so you kind of like can differentiate between the two. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch, he looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir. A lesson here in court? Morse code is a continuous series of 2 distinct tones. Yes? Tones, you say? Yes. A short dot and a long dash, yep. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters. I see. For example, this is A. And this is B. But when you listen to sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you? But it sounds so similar. The rhythm is the same in everything. But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. No! Really, you shouldn't be surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in future. Ugh, stop. Nothing to say, but stop. Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it? Iris? I mean, if the government secrets are somehow being leaked using a music box,
So many other things would slot into place so nicely. Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play by Morse code? Give it a try. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense. Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend? Repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that in Morse code, 2 tones are required, dots and dashes. Yeah, I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well, it would appear the defense is a hypothesis to put forward. You had better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code? The bottom, baby. Look it up. Look it up. Yes, this is it then. Guess you know what's coming. I'm supposed to open it first. That's my bad. That's my bad. I'm sorry. Yep. Wasn't that obvious? I'm sure you're on the right lines here. There's something about that music box. Yeah, I know. I know what it is. Oh god, I have to do the whole thing again? Piece of shit. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave this episode here then. I should have opened it first. I kind of knew, like, the moment I pressed it, I messed up. I should have opened it. But you know what? We'll leave this episode here. In the next episode, we'll call out the possibility the music box being used for 2 tones, which we know it's possible. Because, like Iris said, the combs are different, so they will produce 2 different tones. So yeah, for now, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. As always, be safe, take care, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace!